Wu Di never imagined that one day he would bind a system.Wanjie trading system. As long as you have money, you will be squeezed out by him. Bah, you can get what you want from him. 1 kilogram of tomatoes, as long as you are golden, you can't buy them at a loss, you can't fall for it. A bottle of beer, with only 9% gold, is definitely authentic snowflake. What for all? You don't have gold. Okay, you can also trade other things for something else. This century-old ginseng is worth 9 or 9 gold coins. What for all? Tell me to cheat. This is the price here, is it easy to cut? Our purpose of opening a store is to prioritize customers, money, and customers, gold. Chapter 1. Dreaming Awakening Moments. System Descent. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This is love. I love you. Old Wang's face was angry and his saliva was splattering. Wu Di, wake up. If it weren't for you buying things and spending money on various luxury goods like flowing water, would a woman pay attention to you? Wu Di looked dissatisfied and said, what's wrong with me buying something for her? Shouldn't I buy it for her? My money is not for my partner to buy, for you to buy. Old Wang was so angry that he tilted back and stumbled. He almost had a cerebral thrombosis and fell to the ground. What opinions can he have when you buy something? But you need to take a look at the financial statements. Actually, if you were a wealthy second-generation young master, he wouldn't say anything more. But you need to identify yourself clearly. We are just a small commoner. Can we act within our means? Brother, do you think it's okay? Alright, Lao Wang, aren't you just envious and jealous? Brother, understand. After tonight, I'll have Xiao Fong introduce her best friend to you tomorrow. I promise to let you also taste the freshness of love. Room 416 of Building 12, in the evening, Old Wang looked at Wu Di, who was holding flowers in his hands, dressed handsome and going out happily, and his face turned pale with anger. Trembling all over. Although there is no evidence, his intuition tells him that woman is definitely not a good person. He really wants to say some serious words to wake up his good brother, but he is worried that his good brother will relapse into depression and return to his previously heartbreaking introverted appearance. He finally became cheerful and optimistic, but why is it because of this bad woman? Old Wang, give up. That's right, Lao Wang. There's no such thing as a broken university. In Wu Di's current situation, the only person who can save him is probably that bad woman. Lao Wang, perhaps we misunderstood. Can't we say that Lu Xiaofang is really a good girl? Old Wang listened to his roommate's words with disdain. Shit, she's a good person. I live stream and eat shit. 2 hours later, Wu Di sat on the roof of Yifu building, with a cool breeze and tears in his eyes. It was over, everything was over. 22 days. Just like him, he's not an ordinary person. It's 22 days ago, without any warning, she suddenly appeared in front of him without saying a word or even looking up at him. She squatted in the corner where he used to go, feeding the senior cats there. He rudely and recklessly entered his world. Wu Di never believed in love at first sight before, after all, he had never seen a beautiful girl before. In middle school, high school, and university, there were not 100 or dozens of girls that he had overcome, but none of them had that kind of heart-wrenching feeling. Until he met her, his eyes froze. Breathing is stagnant. My heartbeat is accelerating uncontrollably. She is like a devil, with a devilish and provocative figure, and a pure, kind, friendly, and gentle heart like an angel. He acted out of nowhere and only realized his offensive behavior after saying, "Add a WeChat friend." But she wasn't angry, she really smiled and added him as a friend, looking very gentle. And then he tasted the freshness of love. He devoted himself wholeheartedly to her and gave her years of savings to spend, but in the end, she held hands with that guy and went to the Golden Leaf Hotel to open a room. What he couldn't even dream of was something he was afraid of offending her, but she took the initiative to give her body to that bastard to play with. She had a cruel smile on her face, telling him a lesson. A loser like him should keep his feet on the ground. Swan meat is not something that toads like him can eat. I'm teasing you, you're taking it seriously. He a toad. Loser. Wu Di's mouth is bitter, and he has been mocked by others who have said the same before. However, no matter who says it, it is not as powerful as her words. It's like throwing an atomic bomb into his heart, and after the explosion, the world is in ruins. God, can you give me a reason? Wu Di came to the wall drunk, with tears in his eyes, and looked up at the starry sky. What other reason does he have to survive? Starting from tomorrow, no, from now on, he will be the laughing stock of the whole school. Oh no, actually he's already there. The moment he met her, the moment he was moved, he was already destined to be a joker. He just didn't want to accept reality and lied to himself for a whole 22 days. Wu Di is thinking about the meaning of his life. He has no father or mother now, and has lived with his second uncle for more than 10 years. He has suffered from the bitterness of living under the influence of others, and he doesn't have many close friends. So what is his reason for living? Doodle. Doodle. Wu Di looked at the vibrating phone in his pocket and smiled. Is there really a reason? Take out your phone. It turned out to be a notification of outstanding phone bills. I owe 25 yuan. Wu Di smiled again, with a bitter smile. Shake your head. He casually clicked on the payment interface, and then he stared blankly at words like payment failed, insufficient balance, and so on. Payment failed. Insufficient balance. How could it be due to insufficient balance? Although he can't compare to that family with millions of assets, despite his hard work, frugality, and thrift, he still needs to have over 200,000 yuan in cash in his bank account. Oh. Is that so? Wu Di suddenly realized why his money was now only 28 cents. He is really a clown. Wu Di put his phone back in his pocket, and he owed the phone bill for this month, not last month, so he doesn't need to pay any more. On the rooftop, Wu Di felt the cool breeze at night, gradually emptying his mind of countless thoughts. He is about to take the last step of his life. Target character detected. The system is currently binding. The Wanjie trading system has been successfully bound. A sudden sound appeared in Wu Di's mind, causing his lifted leg to stop in mid-air. For all. Wu Di looked bewildered. Did he really drink too much? Not so much, these are just a few bottles of beer, right? He can still walk. Hello host, I am your intelligent system. If you have any questions when using this system, you can directly ask them. This system will do its best to solve the host's doubts. The voice rang out again, and Wu Di fiercely slapped his two big pussy pockets before looking up at the sky. Laugh. Smile brilliantly. That's a pretty good reason. Wu Di chuckled, not expecting that one day he could also bind the system. It's really 30 years of Hedong, 30 years of Heshi. The system binding gift package has been received. The host can open the package according to their thoughts. Bind gift package. Wu Di was slightly taken aback, then overjoyed and quickly silently recited "Open the gift package" in his heart. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 3 random customer cards. Random customer card. What is this thing? Oh, by the way, it seems like he doesn't even know what this system really does. Wu Di quickly explained the problem to the system. This system is called the Wanjie trading system. As the name suggests, it is a system that facilitates the host to reach a transaction with customers. The host can understand the system as a shop, and the host is the shop owner. The shop can perceive the existence of customers in the universe and recommend them to the host as the shop owner. Random customer card means randomly recruiting customers. Host, Please rest assured that all customers have undergone systematic qualification testing, and their abilities are all sufficient to support obtaining the needs in their hearts. Wu Di listened to the system and roughly understood its situation. That's pretty good. You can trade things from all over the world. Our customers recruited randomly. There is no fixed time, a fixed audience. Host understands correctly. Wu Di nodded. Since that's the case, let him see who the first customer is. After silently reciting, using random customer cards, in his heart, a screen appeared in front of Wu Di. Above is a chat interface. Similar to queue groups. Qin Shi Huang's Yingzheng entered the 10,000 Realms trading group. Your Majesty, the late-night snack is ready. Da Qin, Xianyang, inside the purple extreme hall, an old eunuch bowed and approached a handsome young man. The young man held a pen in one hand and board with the other, flipping through the bamboo slips in his hand. He was dressed in a beautiful black dragon robe, and his identity was obvious: Emperor Yingzheng of the Great Qin dynasty. Yingzheng's face was a bit tired. After putting down the bamboo slips, he yawned twice and followed the eunuch to the next door. There is a large plate of grilled meat on the huge table, and below the iron plate, there are fiery red and hot charcoal fruits. There is a pot of ice wine next to it, which is exquisite and transparent, surprisingly made of rare crystals in the world. After Yingzheng sat down on the dragon chair, four exquisitely dressed maids, half covered and half exposed, quickly approached, pounding their backs and legs. There were two more people. One picked up the grilled meat and handed it to Yingzheng's mouth, while the other brought the fine wine in front of him. The sound of bells ringing and the sound of ding music echoing around makes one feel refreshed and relaxed. Qin Shi Huang's Yingzheng. Do you have beer? Qin Shi Huang's Yingzheng. Ice Wu Di is thinking about how to explain to Emperor Qin Shi Huang so that he can understand his existence. I didn't expect Qin Shi Huang, do you understand? The host does not need to worry about customers not understanding the system. This system will instill basic system concepts in each customer, helping them understand the system. Wu Di suddenly realized as he listened to the sound of the system. Is that what happened? This system is really thoughtful. Group leader. Yes. Wu Di replied to Qin Shi Huang with one word, and then he also didn't know what to say. On the side of Emperor Qin Shi Huang, there shouldn't be any soft sister coins, right? So how much does his beer have to be priced? How should he trade with him? Does the host need to check the assets of Emperor Qin Shi Huang's Yingzheng? Wu Di was taken aback for a moment, and it was only then that he fully understood what the system had just said about qualification inspection. Surprisingly, there is an asset situation indicating that this relationship is good. Wu Di looked up and took a sip of beer, while asking the system to take out the asset statement of Qin Shi Huang. Take a look. My eyes instantly straightened. Qin Shi Huang's Yingzheng. Total assets equivalent to 100 billion tons of gold. For all. Wu Di rubbed his eyes and repeatedly confirmed that this was really 1 billion tons of gold. Damn it. 1 billion tons of gold. Double exclamation mark. System, you're not joking. Wu Di covered his chest, his heart rate rapidly increasing, giving him a feeling of suffocation. Please believe the test results, as the saying goes, under heaven, there is no royal soil, and no royal officials leading the land. The assets of Yingzheng are everything of the entire Qin Empire. But currently, the only funds that Qin Shi Huang's Yingzheng can use are equivalent to 100 tons of gold. The rest are various types of real estate, and the system currently does not support barter items, exchange things for things. Yes, the host can exchange goods with customers, after all, gold is also a commodity. Wu Di nodded, there's nothing wrong with saying so. So how much gold should he ask Qin Shi Huang for? Qin Shi Huang's Yingzheng. Is anyone there? I want 2 bottles of snowflakes, ice. The news of Yingzheng has come again. Wu Di didn't hesitate any longer and directly listed the price in his heart. Group leader. 10 taels of gold/bottle. 10 taels of gold should be considered very cheap, right? After all, Yingzheng can now use 100 tons of gold. Isn't this 10 taels of gold a drop in the bucket? On the other side, Yingzheng's reply arrived late. Yingzheng. Do brothers treat me like a hero? Chapter 2. 1,000 taels of gold, do you want love? You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Wu Di looked at Yingzheng's reply, his eyes wide open and his face bewildered. What is the situation? For all. What does he mean by system? Wu Di was startled and stuttered. Isn't this guy across from Qin Shi Huang? How can you say such a tiger-wolf word? Can that just be said by his identity? Has the host noticed the quotation marks? The sound of the system rang out, and Wu Di was stunned for a moment, then realized that there was actually a somewhat strange place. On this chat interface, Yingzheng behind Qin Shi Huang was marked with a. So the meaning of the system is that he is not actually Qin Shi Huang. No, if it weren't for Qin Shi Huang, what does that 100 trillion yuan of gold mean just now? The system can't be joking, can it? Wu Di's mind was filled with confusion for a moment, but in the end, the system directly told him the answer. This is a traveler. The system screen shows Yingzheng's information. Wu Di looked at the concise and clear information on the system screen and tugged at it, thinking it was something. It turned out to be encountering iron. He was startled. Friendly reminder from this system, in fact, Yingzheng does not know the details of the host. The trading group will only reveal the identity of the group members to the host, and will not disclose the host situation to the group members. The reason why Yingzheng spoke like that just now is 50% likely to be to try to negotiate. What about the remaining 50%? Wu Di raised his eyebrows. What was the situation with the remaining 50%? Maybe he doesn't want it anymore. After all, the host sells it so expensive. Wu Di's face stiffened for a moment, and he chuckled at the corner of his mouth. Surprisingly, he didn't want it anymore. Wipe. Isn't it just 10 taels of gold? So stingy. What a stain on the three major characters of Qin Shi Huang. Qin Shi Huang's Yingzheng. Alright, brother, 1 or 2 gold will buy you 10 boxes of snowflakes. Don't be too greedy in your life. Amidst Wu Di's righteous anger, another message about Yingzheng appeared in a preaching tone. Watching this news, Wu Di laughed angrily. I'm really laughing. Greed. He's just greedy. Group leader. Now there are 100 taels of gold. Do you like it or not? After Wu Di scolded the opposite, Yingzheng, he directly asked the system to recruit the second customer. He's not the only customer. Do you love it or not? Lu Xiaofeng joins the Wanjie trading group. Wu Di looked at the person who had just joined the group chat, and her pupils instantly shrank, and her face immediately fell silent. Surprisingly, it's her. Outside of Moda University of Technology, room 6618 of the Golden Leaf Hotel is filled with the smell of love overflowing. On the messy bed, a beautiful girl with a beautiful figure and fair skin, without any trace, had a hot and flushed face. She breathed in fresh air like a fish lacking oxygen, her chest was turbulent, her body was covered in red and white marks, and there were bruises in many places, indicating that she had just finished a thrilling battle. Wanjie Trading Group. What the hell is this? Lu Xiaofeng picked up the suddenly vibrating phone and frowned. Who added her to this group? And Lu Xiaofeng's mouth twitched, and this guy's internet name was actually called Qin Shi Huang Yingzheng. Lu Xiaofeng looked at a friend's name in the group and couldn't help but tug at it. She had lived for more than 20 years, and it was the first time she had encountered such a ridiculous username. Is this really in the late stage of the second stage of the disease? Qin Shi Huang Yingzheng. New couple's photo explosion. Is she really a girl? Dog head, Lu Xiaofang originally wanted to leave this group, but she didn't expect to be greeted so quickly by Zhong Erbing. It seems that I can't leave immediately now. She was about to reply to this secondary illness, but suddenly a bunch of information popped up in her mind in 1 or 2 minutes. Lu Xiaofang just came to her senses with an excited expression on her face. Is that so? Lu Xiaofang. Are you really Emperor Qin Shi Huang? Yingzheng. It's true or false? Lu Xiaofang is not sure, so what does this mean? She had not yet received Yingzheng's answer when suddenly her expression became painful. She regretted it a bit and had known she wouldn't have had that repair surgery. But not having that surgery and not being able to close this guy in front of me, it's really a headache. But looking at the bloodstains on the bed, Lu Xiaofang is still interested in her heart. Light. Lu Xiaofang frowned slightly, with a slightly painful expression on her face. Wu Di's news. Wu Junjie casually inquired about her situation above. Whose news was it just now? Well, yes, it's him. Wu Junjie laughed heartily as he listened to Lu Xiaofang's words. Did that kid still send you a message? What did he say? Upon hearing the news that it was really Wu Di, Wu Junjie was very interested and even more excited. In an instant, Lu Xiaofang's expression became even more painful. She swore never to go to that small clinic again. He said, speak ill of you. Humph, how did he know that we are truly in love? I was just playing with him. Lu Xiaofang, surrounded by a tingling sensation on her scalp, couldn't utter a complete sentence in one breath. Wu Junjie had a disdainful smile on his face, a smile on his face at Wu Di, but a smile on his heart at Lu Xiaofang. Dude is so smooth and unobstructed, still daydreaming. He also daydreams if he wants to do it. Okay. Alright, you can continue chatting with him. Wu Junjie felt extremely happy when he thought of Wu Di's humble plea across from his phone. The thought of that guy's previous situation where he even felt weak holding hands made him even more proud and excited. Brother. Since you can't bear to touch him, then I'll take care of you on my brother's behalf. After all, your efforts cannot be in vain. Don't be too grateful to him. Who made him your brother? It is only right for a brother to be a little more aggrieved and hard-working for his younger brother. Lu Xiaofang looked at her phone again, and there were already many messages about Yingzheng on it. He also briefly introduced his situation. Is that so? Lu Xiaofang was just about to click on the exclusive red envelope sent to her by Yingzheng to see the situation. However, the red envelope has been blocked by the group leader. What is the situation? For all. It was only at this moment that Lu Xiaofang realized that there was also a group leader in this group. Mad. Why is this forcing me to block my red envelope? Lu Xiaofang was about to question the group leader, but the latter's news was one step faster than hers. Wu Di's tone was eerie, with a hint of coldness. Group leader. This is my group. Wu Di is very angry at the moment, both angry at this second customer and at the guy named Yingzheng. LSP. I really should let you taste the feeling of being hurt by a woman too. Wu Di never expected that he would talk to her again so quickly, still in this way. System, were you intentional? Wu Di's eyes were sharp and unpleasant. The system pulled her in to disgust him. The host is too cautious, it's purely random. Wu Di chuckled, he didn't believe there was nothing fishy about it. With 8 billion people around the world, including all the heavens and all the worlds, wouldn't that be an infinite number? Who are you not good at pulling this bad woman in, and you're saying you're not disgusting him? Amidst Wu Di's anger, he had become the target of criticism from Lu Xiaofang and Yingzheng. Lu Xiaofang. So what about your group? Give me my red envelope. Yingzheng. Yes, I'm warning you, kid. Don't meddle in your business. Do you believe that I won't buy your things? Lu Xiaofang. That's right, don't buy his things. I'll sell them to you at a cheaper price. Yingzheng. This relationship is so good, good sister. Let me tell you, this guy just had a bottle of snowflake. Wu Di looked at the two people who had a lot of resentment, with a cold smile on his face. System, do you think these two people misunderstood something? The sound of the system rings. In the memory that the system instilled in them, there was indeed no information that I can only trade with you at the moment. They probably thought this was a free trading group. Wu Di smiled and listened to the system's explanation, not getting angry with these two people's words anymore. Speak up, speak up. He wants to see how you guys end up. Wait. System, you just said, current, meaning you can freely trade in the future. Indeed, after reaching 5 members, excluding the host, the system will upgrade, and there is a high probability that free trading will be activated after the upgrade. Wu Di frowned and said, if they can trade on their own, what else can I earn? The host is overthinking. This system belongs to the host and always stands on their side. The purpose of upgrading the system is naturally to improve the host's quality of life. Wu Di's eyebrows slightly relaxed as the system put it this way, it seems to be another welfare mechanism. Okay. Anyway, as long as I have benefits. He can ignore other things and not be too greedy. He still knows this truth. Group leader. Guess why I am the group leader? Wu Di's one sentence directly confused the two of them. Lu Xiaofang looked at her phone screen and her eyelids twitched fiercely, feeling a sense of foreboding in her heart. Like Lu Xiaofang, there was also Yingzheng, who had a sense of foreboding and was far away in the world of Qin. It was only at this time that he realized something. The group leader seems to is it possible to kick people? Is it possible to kick people? He hasn't used WeChat and QQ for too long, so the group leader should be able to kick people, right? After Wu Di issued a warning, he didn't hesitate and directly gave Lu Xiaofang a plane ticket. In the Golden Leaf Hotel, Lu Xiaofang looked at the screen of her phone, dumbfounded, and a wave of endless regret surged in her heart. At the same time, Wu Junjie happened to have finished his task, and Lu Xiaofang felt an unprecedented emptiness, loneliness, and coldness. After the fierce battle, Wu Junjie collapsed on Lu Xiaofang, panting heavily and looking satisfied. The latter's face gradually became confused quickly, she forgot everything about the mysterious Wanjie trading group. On this side, Wu Di kicked her ex-girlfriend without any hesitation or any devious retaliatory thoughts. Although he does hate her to the bone. But he disdains using any covert means, as long as he lives better than her in the future, 10,000 times better, 100 million times better. It's the best revenge for her. Yingzheng. Master, spare your life. Wu Di had not yet figured out how to deal with Yingzheng, but the latter suddenly became aware of the current situation. It seems that this person is not foolish either. Group leader. Now it's 1,000 taels of gold. Group leader. Do you like it or not? Wu Di sent a message and was about to see who the third customer was. Yingzheng replied in seconds. Yingzheng. Yes. 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 Yingzheng was really scared. He used to only treat Wu Di as his own kind, a unlucky system worker. You have a system, and he also has a system. Who is afraid of who? But I didn't expect Wu Di has such a ultimate move. Indeed, Yingzheng is not worried that Wu Di will kill him in his world, but Yingzheng is afraid of loneliness. How many years have passed, he hasn't talked to modern people for many years, and hasn't been surfing the internet. Do you know how cruel this is for an otaku? The news of Yingzheng came out, and a transaction information suddenly appeared on the chat interface, showing that Yingzheng had already recharged 10,000 taels of gold. This guy is quite generous now. Wu Di casually handed over the remaining 3 bottles of snowflakes to the system, and then refunded that guy 7,000 taels of gold. He is a person who values integrity. Group leader. In the future, exchange 10 taels of gold for 3 bottles, when the master is in a good mood. Wu Di sent out a new message with his mind, and in order to maintain long-term business, he finally set a new price. The just 1,000 taels of gold are naturally a breath of anger. As a qualified businessman, you need to learn how to flow thin and long. Then Wu Di took out ginseng's gold from the system. To be precise, it was a golden cake. There is a Qin character on the back. It's just not the Qin character in modern Chinese, it's ancient Chinese, maybe it's a small seal script. Is it like the writing of the Qin dynasty was in small seal script? How much does a golden cake weigh? Wu Di weighed the weight and didn't expect the small thing to be quite heavy. It's really hard to tell. It turns out that the density of gold is so high. A 250 g golden cake. Wu Di calculated that if one golden cake weighs 250 g, it means that these 3,000 taels of gold have 600 golden cakes. The total value is. Wu Di quickly searched for the current price of gold, and the current market price of gold is 4,261 grams. Even if it's 400. The total value of these golden cakes is approximately 400 times 3,000 times 50 is equal to 60 million yuan. Exactly 60 million. Wu Di covered his heart, feeling indescribable excitement in his heart. Surprisingly, he had already acquired 60 million yuan in wealth. Wait. Wu Di's expression froze as he thought of something in his heart. System, aren't these gold coins of unknown origin? Wu Di has also read the news. Nowadays, everything belongs to the public. Not long ago, an old man dug up gold in his own courtyard and was forcibly confiscated. The gold in his hand at this moment, is it really Wu Di's gold? Chapter 3. 7 Fairies Cucumber. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Host can rest assured that this small problem does not exist. The system has arranged a reasonable identity for these gold coins, and the host can use them with confidence. Wu Di finally relaxed in his heart as he listened to the system say this. That's good, that's good. Xiao joins the Wanjie trading group. The identity of the third customer has been revealed. Wu Di frowned. Why does it look like the name of a maid? Why are everyone in the group? Xiao. One of the 7 fairies, ranked 7th, with a total assets of approximately 10 billion tons of gold and a working capital of approximately 600 tons of gold. Wu Di looked at Xiao's identity with a surprised expression on his face. What for all? Surprisingly one of the 7 fairies. Still the smallest one. Is that Dong Yong's wife? Zhong. The system is amazing. So quickly hired a top-tier expert. Wu Di's excitement in his heart is indescribable, even more so than when he just received 60 million gold. Compared to Xiao, what is this 60 million gold worth? It's just a pile of dog poop. If you take care of her well and reward yourself with 1 or 2 fairy peaches. Wu Di couldn't help but chuckle, this time it's really developed. Wait. Wu Di's expression suddenly froze. Did he think something wrong just now? Why does he have to serve Xiao? He is the group leader. He's the boss, okay. Group leader. At Xiao, what do you want? Xiao's reply was a bit late, perhaps she hasn't figured out the appearance of the system yet. But doesn't the system have an introduction? Xiao. Do you have cucumbers? It's best to have prickly ones, they should be fresher. Wu Di looked at Xiao's answer and felt a bit wicked. Cucumber. Is Dong Yong unable to satisfy you? Leader. Don't worry, the top flower with thorns is definitely hard and fresh enough, and can definitely withstand the turmoil. Xiao fell silent for another moment. I don't know if I understood Wu Di's meaning, felt embarrassed, or for some other reason. Zier. Troubles. What does Tao Yu mean? Zier's information arrived late. Zier. I bought it to eat. What does the Taoist mean by able to withstand turmoil? Zier. Is it difficult? The cucumber mentioned by the Taoist friend is not the same thing as what I think. Wu Di looked at Zier's answer and fell silent. How should he answer this question? Do you want him to provide a detailed introduction on how to tinker? Wu Di didn't expect that he couldn't resist the evil in his heart and wanted to make a dirty joke, but in the end, he stripped himself naked and threw himself naked onto the road. Is this just being trapped in a cocoon? Leader. It's just one thing. What I mean is, this cucumber is absolutely fresh, crispy and tender enough. Group leader. 10 taels of gold per kilogram. Wu Di reluctantly reconciled his words and then offered the price directly. It's also 10 taels of gold. If nothing unexpected happens in the future, everything will be priced at 10 taels of gold by Wu Di. Of course. Behavior like Yingzheng with a bad mood, don't blame him for being ruthless. Zier fell silent again. The message has been delayed in response. Wu Di really feels a bit annoyed. Why, is Tianting still on the 2G network now? Surprisingly, the speed of the turtle is so fast. Zier. Are Tao Yu joking? Zier's answer came late. And then Wu Di instantly became popular. His mother. How can even immortals be stingy? Isn't it just 10 taels of gold? The world is far away in an unknown corner, somewhere in the heavenly court, colorful clouds and mist envelop, in the palace of the 7 fairies Zier, there was a mist of water, and a naked woman lay in the bathtub, pure white as jade, with a beautiful and perfect figure without any flaws, which can be said to be a miracle of the Creator. Zier frowned slightly and pondered on something. The fact is not that the internet speed is slow, but that Zier is very curious about who will write this trading group and what exactly is going on. After all, this method is too terrifying. Even if her Zier is not as good as the Tota Heavenly King and the Erlang God Yang Jian, she is not an ordinary immortal. Surprisingly, there is such a person who contacts her so much, and the method is so terrifying. Purpose just for trading things. Is this a bit too playful? In fact, Zier is not unable to accept the trading group. She is just very surprised. Just now, she was thinking of the cucumber she had eaten in the mortal world, and then this trading group appeared. Is that person able to peek into her heart? Oh my God! What kind of terror is this? Group leader. Then let's have 100 taels of gold. Do you want it or not? Zier was startled as she watched the mysterious person on the other side respond to her in seconds. Are you angry? Why are you angry? She didn't say anything wrong, did she? Zier was a bit confused. How could this group leader suddenly become angry? In fact, she didn't see what had just happened. Some people obviously misunderstood a certain fairy daughter. How could Zier possibly find it too expensive? She was shocked by how cheap it was. Although cucumbers are just ordinary creatures, under the extremely high pressure prohibition and control of the heavenly court today, immortals are prohibited from living in the mortal world. Ordinary creatures are no longer ordinary creatures. As the saying goes, rare things are precious. Although the value of ordinary things is not high, they are still very precious to those in need. Zier. Daoist friend, Zier has no intention of offending, it's just that the immortals and mortals are now isolated. Wu Di looked at Zier's explanation and only then understood that Zier was not the same Yingzheng as before. He misunderstood her meaning. It's really a bit awkward. Group leader. It's so verbose, now it's 1,000 taels of gold. Although Wu Di felt a bit apologetic in his heart, on the surface, he did not feel any guilt. After all, Zier has already established for him a status as the supreme leader, who can communicate with the mortal world under the current high-pressure ban of the heavenly court. Naturally, he cannot destroy this persona. Wu Di keenly realized one thing: since the system says that customers don't know their details, so he doesn't need to disclose his own details at all. He is just a supreme tycoon. Can't we? As for whether he will reveal his true feelings, will Yingzheng, as his iron son, say things he shouldn't have said? Wu Di chuckled. So what if he said it? If it's a big deal, he'll kick these two guys. Since he can't solve the problem, then let's solve the person who caused the problem. Zier. Then I need 10 pounds of cucumbers. Wu Di went to a small market in the western region, and then Zier's order was completed. Another 10,000 taels of gold have been credited. In fact, he wanted more fairy fruits, so he specifically consulted the system. The system said that although he could not change to flat peach and ginseng fruit, ordinary fairy fruits were still okay. Wu Di did not do so in the end, which was also in line with his reputation as a supreme tycoon with an unpredictable temper, but also with a very honest attitude towards business. The agreed price is what it is, it's the price that changes, not the personality of a big shot. Wu Di. At Qin Shi Huang Yingzheng, at Zier, you can chat freely. If you need it, just send me the order directly. If you're not sure about the price, at me. The last message for tonight was sent out, and Wu Di went to take a shower and then went to sleep beautifully. During this time, he also noticed the hesitant gaze of his 3 roommates at him. He smiled and comforted them, saying it was okay, and then went to bed. The next day, early in the morning, there were a total of 19,357 messages in the Wanjie trading group, indicating that those 2 people had been chatting all night. Wu Di is not interested in these messages, he only cares about the few pieces of information at him. Yingzheng asked about the quality of instant noodles, ham sausage, soy egg, Weilong hot sticks, etc. This guy hasn't eaten these things for over a decade, and in his words, he's really starving. Zier asked about the price of fruits. It's normal for girls to like fruits. She consulted some fruits that are not available in her world. It took Wu Di more than 10 minutes to come up with 2 detailed product price lists. Yes, 2 servings. Wu Di was really thinking about the fairy fruits in Zier's place, so he naturally made a different list. After washing their faces and brushing their teeth, the purchase lists for Yingzheng and Zier also came over. Yingzheng's order is 100 taels of gold. Zier's list consists of 10 ordinary immortal fruits, followed by an ordinary jade pendant. Although it may be considered ordinary, it is not ordinary when it comes to Wu Di. This is the welfare of crossing boundaries. As soon as you leave, as expected, Wu Di felt countless strange gazes and heard a lot of gossip. This guy has really thick skin. I just said, how could Goddess Lu look up to him as a loser? Goddess Lu and Wu Shaokai are a pair. That's right, this guy is just like a nobody, it shows how thick his skin is. TSK, I thought he would jump off a building. If I were him, would he still have the face to live in this world? The toad wants to eat swan meat, and the goddess Lu is also something that a toad like her can imagine. Chapter 4. The Story of the Toad and the Swan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Wu Di listened to the sound of pointing around, with a nonchalant expression on his face. He didn't care about these voices for a long time. Before meeting Lu Xiaofang, many years ago, he didn't care anymore. To argue with them about these meaningless things and waste time, it's better to do something meaningful, earn some living expenses, play 2 landlords, and watch an exciting European and American movie. Isn't it fragrant? Enough. Do you think your behavior is polite? Wu Di was leisurely walking on his way to the small market in the west when suddenly a female voice rang out. He was startled. Looking back, a tall and beautiful girl wearing a white coat was looking slightly angry, looking at the 2 young men and women who were talking the most, like a small couple. Wu Di recognized this beautiful girl with a cold air all over her body, responsible for the beauty and strength of medical school. Xiao Chu Yue. Seems like a wealthy lady. I heard that my family is quite wealthy. Under the strong aura of Xiao Chu Yue, the voices of discussion around disappeared instantly, and some people couldn't bear the embarrassment of backfiring on themselves and walked away in disappointment. Magic University of Science and Technology is not good at this point. In order to make the most of the money, students are recruited from all over the country. What kind of rotten money is just right? Xiao Chu Yue looked at Wu Di, who was staring at her, with a hint of annoyance on her face. Those who chewed their tongues were not good people, and she didn't like this licking dog either. A big old man who spends his days wandering around a woman, really lacking ambition. And if you do that, it's just that you have truly gained love, but what will happen in the end? What a clown. What are you doing? Xiao Chu Yue looked at Wu Di, who was blocking the way, and her face became more annoyed. Her face also became colder by 3 points, and she exuded a chilling aura. Are you the Miss Qianjin? Wu Di's words stunned Xiao Chu Yue, and she regained her composure. The latter's brow furrowed even tighter. Speak up if you have anything to say. Well, I need a sum of cash. I'll exchange it for you with gold, and you'll get 300 yuan for 1 gram. Wu Di had a smile on his face and was a bit excited. His gold had a place to sell. Hey. Speaking of which, it's really troublesome. Although gold is good, it cannot be used directly and needs to be exchanged for soft coins. Do you think it's strange? Why does Wu Di want to exchange money with Xiao Chu Yue? Since the system says that these gold have identification documents, is it different for him to send the gold to the bank for recovery? The following text will answer this question. Xiao Chu Yue looked coldly at Wu Di and chuckled. You haven't given up yet. Are you planning to follow his child's surname when she gets pregnant? In fact, Xiao Chu Yue usually doesn't pay attention to people like Wu Di, but recently she has received various reports on Wu Di on the campus network every day, which is really annoying. Bored and annoying. It really makes her feel uncomfortable. I have already broken up with her. Speaking of that woman, Wu Di's smile also disappeared, and his eyes were filled with resentment. Xiao Chu Yue looked at Wu Di's expression and fell silent. 300 yuan per gram. Yes, I only need 300. How much gold do you have? Xiao Chu Yue was tempted. The current market price of gold is over 400 grams, but this guy only wants her 300 yuan. This advantage is not worth it. Who would mind having too much money? As for the issue of gold's identity, there must be a problem. Otherwise, this guy will send it to the bank, and the price is not higher than 300 yuan. However, for her, this question is not a big deal. Wu Di smiled confidently and said, it all depends on how much money you have. Xiao Chu Yue chuckled and said, I have millions of deposits in my bank card, but do you have that much gold? Okay, I'll take all your money. Xiao Chu Yue fell silent for a moment, then her face turned cold. Are you joking with me? Xiao Chu Yue became a bit angry because she didn't believe that Wu Di had so much gold. His family background had already been exposed. An orphan, who used to work and study hard all year round, would have gold worth tens of millions. It's funny. Do you think I'm being funny? Xiao Chu Yue looked at Wu Di's firm gaze, restrained her anger for a moment, and said, how much gold do you have? Wu Di smiled and said, anyway, it's more than your savings. Xiao Chu Yue frowned slightly and asked in confusion, so much gold has come from your place. Stealing it, can't we? How much did you steal? I said, anyway, it's better than you. What if there's more than me? Xiao Chu Yue interrupted Wu Di's words and said coldly, is it even more difficult than my Xiao family's billions of assets? Wu Di was somewhat frightened by Xiao Chu Yue's aura, but when he regained his senses, his smile became even more brilliant. Yes. Why did he forget the Xiao family? Actually, there isn't much, it's just a meager 10,000 taels of gold, not much. 10,000 taels of gold. Xiao Chu Yue frowned slightly and said, are you talking about 1, 2, and 50 grams of 1 or 2, dot? Yes. Xiao Chu Yue calculated in her mind, 1 to 2 to 50 grams, 10,000 liang is 500,000 grams, which is 500 kilograms. Half a ton of gold. Where did this guy get that gold? For all. Stolen it. It's funny. If anyone is stolen half a ton of gold, at least they will be on the national hot search for 3 days. Miss Xiao, let me do a magic trick for you. You will definitely enjoy this magic trick. Wu Di looked at Xiao Chu Yue's expressionless expression and suddenly got up, deciding to perform a small magic trick on her to persuade her to accept this transaction. Oh. Wait and see. Wu Di pointed to Xiao Chu Yue's pocket in his white coat and smiled, saying, can I borrow your pocket for a while? Without hesitation, Xiao Chu Yue nodded. Then Wu Di rolled up her sleeves and showed that there was nothing in her hand, then reached out and inserted it into Xiao Chu Yue's pocket. As a weight appeared, Xiao Chu Yue couldn't help but raise her eyebrows. How did this guy put something in her pocket? Wu Di extended an empty hand, and then Xiao Chu Yue couldn't wait to look into her pocket. A golden light flashed into her eyes. What? Xiao Chu Yue took out the golden cake from her pocket, feeling an indescribable shock in her heart. How on earth did this guy do it? Is this gold? Xiao Chu Yue checked and confirmed that this is the genuine gold. Or is it still an antique? She recognized the word Qin on the golden cake and had seen the same collection in the museum. If nothing unexpected happens, is this the golden cake from the Qin dynasty? How is this game? Does Miss Xiao like it? Xiao Chu Yue weighed the gold in her hand and smiled, what if I must know its source? Wu Di looked at Xiao Chu Yue's expression, which didn't seem to be fake, and sneered, Miss Xiao, can we just make money? Why bother with so much? If you don't want to do this business, I think there are people willing to do it. Do you really think he has to do with you? Chapter 5 is not about enemies gathering together. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 10,000 taels of gold, right? Yes, 10,000 taels of gold. Okay, let's have lunch together. I'll give you a definite message then. What do you think? Wu Di frowned slightly and said, why have you been thinking for so long, now? Xiao Chu Yue chuckled and interrupted Wu Di's words. Do you think my sister is always available? Wu Di was stunned for a moment, then understood Xiao Chu Yue's meaning. It seemed that she wanted to eat everything. So it's like this. Okay, let's have a detailed discussion at noon. After parting ways with Xiao Chu Yue, Wu Di immediately went to the small market to buy what Yingzheng and Zier wanted, and obtained a considerable amount of wealth. Then I went to the canteen to eat. Since I have money, I won't drink white rice congee today. Let's have a babao congee. Boiled eggs and plain water are not nutritious enough. Today, oh no, let's switch to poached eggs in the future. Another one, oh no, 2 hot dogs. Finally, another big bun, oh no, 2 big buns with beef filling. In the cafeteria, Wu Di extravagantly indulged himself, and with his current imagination, it was already enough luxury. Although there were still many piercing sounds in his ears, he just ignored those words. They can say whatever they want. After dinner, Wu Di went to class. This morning was full, but in the afternoon it was a free afternoon. Perhaps he can schedule Xiao Chu Yue to go out and play. Why does he have such thoughts? Time passed quickly, and in the blink of an eye, it was noon. Xiao Chu Yue gave Wu Di an address early on, which was a restaurant outside the school, a bit far away. Wu Di struggled between sharing bicycles and taxis for a while, but ultimately chose to share bicycles. It's not because taxis have lower cost-effectiveness, he's just lazy to wait for taxis. Yes, it's like this. However, this choice made Wu Di consider one thing, which is he should have a car now. After all, it's already 21 years old, already an adult, already grown up, you have to have a car, right? When the business is done this afternoon, he will go buy a good car. It happens that there is no class in the afternoon. After more than 10 minutes, Qingzhou Pavilion, as soon as Wu Di arrived at the door, he encountered something that was so bloody that it couldn't be more bloody. Yo, isn't this Wu Di? Wu Di looked at Lu Xiaofang, who was blocked at the door, and his face gradually gritted its teeth. Although he said it was beautiful and the road would face the sky in the future, he couldn't face her calmly. Get out of the way. Wu Di held a cloud of anger in his heart, but he didn't want to vent his anger on this woman. There was nothing more despicable than throwing tantrums at her. Move aside. Why should I move aside? Is this your restaurant? Wu Di, it's only been a while since we last saw each other. You've lost your temper. Lu Xiaofang looked at Wu Di with immense joy in her heart, and she loved the clown being played with in her palm. A toad, surprisingly, also wants to eat swan meat. Wu Di, why are you here? A familiar voice rang out from behind, and Wu Di didn't need to turn around to know the identity of this person. Wu Junjie. His cousin, the eldest son of the second uncle. I have been working at my second uncle's company for 2.5 years and have basically established the position of heir. I am currently a graduate student and it is said that I am a top student, but Wu Di does not believe this. You can understand that he is jealous of the wise and capable. Anyway, he does not believe that such a bad person would be a top student. Would someone who bullied him from childhood to adulthood, with a strange and sinister personality, be a top student? If that's the case, then the heavens are really blind. What else could have happened? Suddenly, a slightly crying and somewhat aggrieved voice rang out. Wu Di looked at Lu Xiaofang, who suddenly felt aggrieved. His eyes were bewildered. What play was this singing about? Why did you suddenly start singing? Wu Xiao, I've already said it, I don't like him, he's still bothering me, woo. Lu Xiaofang's grievance made Wu Junjie's face look very happy, especially her awkward walking posture, which made Wu Junjie feel more at ease. Why is it more enjoyable? Wu Junjie wants to say that some things that you single dogs don't understand may not necessarily be a bad thing. Lu Xiaofang looked at the favor in Wu Junjie's eyes and felt happy in her heart. It was not in vain for her to undergo surgery specifically. I spent 300 yuan. The effect is really good. Wu Junjie grabbed Lu Xiaofang's soft waist and said with a friendly smile on his face, I'm talking about cousin. Can you tell me why you're doing this? I can understand your feelings, but you also need to see your own situation. If you don't have a car, a house, or money, how can you give Xiaofang happiness? Is it possible that you want Xiaofang to live in a rental apartment with you in the future? Wu Junjie has a serious and sincere expression on his face, which is the most disgusting. He always talks to Wu Di like this, and from childhood to adulthood, he has always been such a strange person. Wu Di couldn't help but grit his teeth. Although he had managed to ignore the surrounding noise, there was one sound he couldn't ignore. It's the voice of this guy in front of me. Always pushing his mood to the breaking point. Roll. Wu Junjie, if you say these disgusting things again in the future, don't blame my subordinates for being ruthless. Wu Di's cheeks tightened as he gritted his teeth. He really wanted to beat up this guy right now. His anger towards this cousin had accumulated for a long time. The new and old grudges made his fists really itch. Previously, due to various reasons, he couldn't take action, but now if you provoke him again, he will definitely kick you out of the sky. Wu Junjie looked at Wu Di's angry expression and was quite surprised. He used to be a shrinking turtle. Now it has become uneven. It's really rare. Cousin, how are you speaking? Did I say something wrong? Do you really want Xiaofang to live in a rental room with you? Cousin, let me tell you. Speak of your mother. Said degree, Wu Di couldn't help but punch Wu Junjie in the face without mercy. Just hit his nose bridge. Wu Di tried to control it several times, but in the end, he couldn't help but feel the anger in his heart. It was really infuriating. Mad. Let's calculate the new grudges and old grudges together. Ah. Lu Xiaofeng was frightened and panicked by Wu Di's violence, and couldn't help but scream loudly. Wu Di also wanted to beat up this woman in his heart, but he wouldn't do such a thing unless he had to, and the current situation he endured it. Now is not the time to break through the principles. Bang! 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 Wu Di punched Wu Junjie one after another in the face. This playboy has changed more girlfriends in a month than Wu Di's new clothes in 3 years. Where is his opponent? In the blink of an eye, Wu Junjie's head was shattered and blood was flowing, and then Wu Di was also controlled by the security guards who came to control him. Lu Xiaofeng quickly helped Wu Junjie up, feeling excited and clamoring to take Wu Di to the police station. Wu Di really laughed. This person is the girlfriend who took great care of him before. Garbage. My cousin, do you really have the heart to send me to the police station? Wu Di took a deep breath and looked at his hypocritical cousin, saying with a smile, you know, cousin. I have been suffering from mental illness since I was young, and whenever I saw you, I had a tendency towards violence. I couldn't help but want to kill you, a bastard. So this time, you will forgive me. Is that right? Wu Di said this, and the 2 security guards who were holding him hostage, as well as the onlookers around him, gradually became more meaningful as they looked at Wu Junjie. They thought what was going on, what kind of deep hatred did these 2 people have? So these 2 people are cousins. And it's not just that my cousin has a bad attitude, but being a cousin may also have some problems. Hee hee. Wu Junjie wiped off the bloodstains on his face with a gloomy expression and chuckled, of course, cousin. After all, it was me who caused your brain to be kicked by a donkey when you were young. I don't blame you. Alright, let's break up. It's not a big deal. Our cousins have always been like this since we were young. Wu Junjie's reaction did not match Wu Di's expectations. He is a person who cherishes his own face. He will definitely not report to the police. He only knows Wu Di is very clear about Wu Junjie's thoughts at this moment. He sneered in his heart, so let's see who laughs until the end. Do you really think he's still the same as before? Cousin. 30 years in the east and 30 years in the west, it is now the 61st year. He is no longer in the east or west of the river, he has already ascended to heaven. Entering Qingzhou Pavilion, Wu Di quickly discovered Chu Yue, who is now wearing a black suit and looks like a domineering CEO. How does she wear this outfit? Wu Di looked at Chu Yue's attire and inexplicably felt a bit strange in his heart, but he couldn't quite tell exactly where the strange thing was. Perhaps because she is a medical student, Wu Di would feel that she is more suitable for a white coat. What does your family mean? Wu Di came straight to the point and sat opposite Chu Yue. He is very concerned about the attitude of the Xiao family. This morning, he has carefully searched for information online, and the Xiao family is also considered a wealthy man in the Magic City. Their company has a market value of tens of billions, and they are definitely wealthy. Chu Yue didn't speak and gestured to Wu Di, looking behind him. Wu Di turned around and fell silent. He silently turned around again, and behind him, Chu Yue was still sitting there. So what is the situation with Chu Yue, the white coat behind him now? Who is the real Chu Yue, the white coat Chu Yue and the suit Chu Yue? Chapter 6. Little Rich. 72 million. You are listening at novelfull.audio. How about distinguishing who is who? Chu Yue, wearing a white coat, spoke up. Wu Di listened to the familiar voice and knew in her heart that she was the real Chu Yue. So, the person in a suit in front of me, I believe this must be Mr. Xiao, right? Wu Di suddenly remembered something and said that he had just felt strange in his heart. It turned out that the Xiao Chu Yue in front of him was not the real Xiao Chu Yue. But it's Xiao Chulan, the general manager of the Xiao group. It is said that these two sisters are twin sisters. He just didn't react for a while. Okay. In fact, he also had some disbelief in his heart that these two people would really be so similar, but now it seems there are all sorts of strange things in the world. These two people are exactly the same. What does Xiao always mean? Wu Di had a smile on his face. Since Xiao Chulan had arrived, I believe the young lady of the Xiao family must have something to say. 250 yuan. Xiao Chulan is also a country and a city, dressed in a cold air, even colder than Xiao Chuyue. Wu Di really doubted whether she was a cold-blooded animal. Listening to Xiao Chulan's words, Wu Di smiled. Mr. Xiao, have you gone too far? Xiao Chulan chuckled and said, is it too much? If you think it's too much, you can take out the asset certificate and I'll give it to you at a recovery price of 400 yuan. Boom boom. A bolt from the blue echoed in Wu Di's mind, his pupils tightened and his mouth widened, shocking him to the extreme. What's wrong with you? Xiao Chulan looked behind her and was not shocked. So what does this guy in front of her mean? Shocked by what? Have you seen a ghost? Are you serious, Mr. Xiao? Take out the proof of assets and give me a recovery price of 400 yuan. Wu Di's tone became heavy. Eyes full of longing. Xiao Chulan and Xiao Chuyue exchanged a glance, and at the same time, they felt an indescribable strange feeling in their hearts. Can you still provide proof of assets? Xiao Chuyue chuckled, it's funny. 3 minutes later, Xiao Chuyue looked at Xiao Chulan with a constipated expression and said, is it really fake? The latter nodded and sighed. Really? Xiao Chuyue's eyebrows furrowed as she realized that this asset certificate was genuine and that these gold pieces were left for him by his parents. It's really interesting. This is half a ton of gold worth 2 billion yuan. Even the acquisition price written on the asset certificate is still a whopping 1 billion, 10 years ago, 1 billion. 10 years ago, their Xiao family didn't even have a fortune of 1 billion yuan. Isn't this guy an orphan? Isn't he working part-time all year round and living a poor life? It is said that he can't even bear to eat a bowl of beef noodles on weekdays. Since you have proof of assets, why not look for a bank? Xiao Chuyue was a bit angry. Since you have proof of assets, why are you still looking for her? She was also sold for 300 yuan. Wu Di is a bit embarrassed. What do you want him to say about this? Alright, then let's be honest. I fell asleep last night. Xiao Chuyue furrowed her brows and said, I'm lost in sleep. What do you mean by this? It means literally, I fell asleep and forgot that I have proof of assets. Xiao Chuyue was speechless. Xiao Chulan was also speechless. Are you joking with us? Wu Di waved his hand and said helplessly, anyway, I've already told the truth. Do you believe it or not? What do you mean now? Xiao Chulan spoke up. Do you want me to give you a price of 400 yuan? Wu Di listened to Xiao Chulan, feeling a bit embarrassed. He was really asleep. If he remembered having proof of assets, he must have gone to the bank to exchange money. Although the interest rate on bank deposits is not high, the price of recovering gold is still high, as gold is a key resource reserved by the state. 350, what do you think? Wu Di quoted a price, although he also felt it was a bit low, but things are like this, then let's just do it. He is too lazy to go to any bank. He should finish his work earlier so that he can go and see his beloved car. Of course, the prerequisite for everything is that Xiao Chulan must accept a price of 350 yuan. Otherwise, what's up with him going to the bank once? Okay, 350 yuan. Xiao Chulan is a shrewd businessman, and naturally heard Wu Di's determination in his voice. However, there is still money to earn for 350 yuan, so 350 yuan is just 350 yuan. Xiao Chulan didn't stay here for long, signed several transfer documents with a cold face, and then left. She has her own business to attend to. There is only one high and cold school flower left here, Xiao Chu Yue. In fact, it can be called the high and cold school flower, but in reality, the current Xiao Chu Yue looks very approachable. How do you plan to spend so much money? Xiao Chu Yue was curious about Wu Di's plan. How would he spend so much money? According to her speculation, this guy will definitely engage in retaliatory consumption in the future. Spend whatever you want. Waiter, order. Xiao Chu Yue smiled at Wu Di's bold voice and shook her head, feeling somewhat disappointed. I thought he would have some plans. Result. What is your expression? The waiter walked up to Wu Di and the others with a thick menu. Wu Di has lived for so many years, and this is the first time he has touched this thing. He casually opened it and immediately lost his appetite, only to see on the first page a steak priced at 36.88. This price is simply insane. Desperate to the heavens. He can buy 70.80 pounds of yellow beef at the market for over 3,600 yuan. Such an expensive dish is naturally not on Wu Di's consumption list, so he flipped to the second page. It's still a 3,688 steak. On page 3, the steak of 3,888. On page 4, the steak of 6,688. Page 5, steak of 6,688. Wu Di didn't open the sixth page. He furrowed his brows, closed the menu, and let out a dry cough. So what? I'm not hungry, I have something else to do, so I'll leave first. Mad. Black shop. It's just a black shop. Xiao Chu Yue looked at the expression on Wu Di's face and felt surprised. It was really interesting. Do you feel sorry for the money? Xiao Chu Yue's light words instantly hurt Wu Di's heart. Who cares about money? I'm just not hungry. Wu Di is actually leaving. What if I treat you? Wu Di stopped in his tracks and silently sat back in his seat. If it were you. Why should I treat you? Xiao Chu Yue interrupted Wu Di's words, and her face immediately turned ugly. Wu Di, after making such a big fortune, shouldn't it be your treat? Wu Di's face became increasingly ugly, and he couldn't bear to eat. Do you still want him to treat you to eat? Why? Are you just as beautiful as a flower? It's funny. Why does he treat guests to someone who is not related or close? Didn't you take advantage of him just now? What's wrong? You don't want to. Wu Di, many people usually want to invite me to dinner, but they can't. Now that opportunities are right in front of you, don't you want to seize them? Wu Di looked at Xiao Chu Yue with a seductive tone and his eyes darkened for a moment. Seize what opportunity? What do you think? Xiao Chu Yue raised her eyebrows, causing Wu Di to completely shatter her filter. Your persona has collapsed. What persona? Hee, those people say you're a high cold school flower. I think it's just a joke. This woman is as cold as a chicken feather. Actually, they didn't say anything wrong because I wasn't interested in them and didn't bother to talk to them, so they thought I was very aloof, but for you. Xiao Chu Yue didn't finish speaking, but the meaning she wanted to express was already clear and visible. Are you interested in me? Wu Di smiled and said, where are you interested in me? Are you short of money for my money? For my people, am I handsome? Wu Di didn't speak up or get angry. These words were all earnestly advised by old Wang back then. Even if you're not handsome, you don't usually look very wealthy. Instead, you're like a poor guy. How could someone like Lu Xiaofang look up to you? Unfortunately, he was blinded by love. Hee. Go to TMD's love. Bang, Wu Di punched the table, and the coffee in front of Chu Yue poured directly onto her white coat. Wu Di. Chu Yue. Sir, the total is 9,260 yuan. Wu Di looked at the 20 or so plates in front of him. Although he had some psychological preparation, he still felt very uncomfortable listening to this number. Twitching at the corners of the mouth. He just ate a 3,688 steak. This spendthrift girl. Is she a pig? Surprisingly, I can eat it so well. I ordered 23 plates all the time. What's wrong, you feel heartbroken? Chu Yue's face was teasing. Wu Di chuckled and said, in the future, let's return to the bridge and the road to the road. Why? No why. Wu Di stood up, feeling uncomfortable all over and starving. The steak he had just had was not as big as his palm, and the portion was not even as big as a meat bun in the school cafeteria. 3688 was just eating a lonely meal. And the taste is good, that's all. The key is anyway, he doesn't like the taste, maybe it's because he has a special taste. After all, the woman across from him looks quite fond of eating, and the food is quite fragrant. It's probably because he can't appreciate those things. Let's just assume that his mountain pig can't eat the rice bran. How about I treat you to a movie? Wu Di had not yet taken the 10th step when Chu Yue's voice rang behind him. He stopped in his tracks, turned around, frowned, and said, what were you saying just now? Hee, Wu Di, if you feel like you're losing, I can't compensate you a little. Wu Di frowned. To be honest, he was a bit tempted. The money for a movie ticket is also money. You can also get some money back. No need. Wu Di coldly rejected Chu Yue, but in the end, he restrained his thoughts. Although he felt he was at a loss, he was a man. This statement cannot be admitted. I just have a stomachache, it's not heartache. Wu Di didn't say much and turned around and left. And then at the bus stop, he met Chu Yue again and she said she also wanted to take this bus back to school. Wu Di. The two of them returned to school, and Wu Di went directly to Zhang Yi Noodle Restaurant in the West District Small Market. She ordered a top-of-the-line beef noodles for 26 yuan, and then Chu Yue also ordered a clear noodles in soup and sat in front of him with a smile on her face. Wu Di. Chu Yue, is it interesting? Wu Di originally didn't want to talk to her, but now he is very curious about a question. Chu Yue, I need to go back to the dormitory later. Do you want to go back with me? Chu Yue thoughtfully said, why don't you take a look later? Do I dare to go in? Perhaps you have forgotten, I am a medical student, and the things you are worried about are not a problem for a medical student at all. In my eyes, those are just organs, a little thing that I can play with casually. Wu Di's face stiffened, but he forgot about this. However, a casual little thing to grasp. He feels like you have something to say in your words. I'll tell you a little secret quietly. Chu Yue leaned down and leaned in front of Wu Di, whispering in his ear, when I was interning at the hospital before, out of curiosity, I even went to visit and learn. I got started with circumcision surgery. I still remember that feeling now, small, so exquisite. Wu Di's face turned pale. He had already confirmed that this woman was intentional. Chapter 7. Breaking Hearts in the Past. Chu Yue's Heart Beats. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Wu Di's forehead was bulging with veins, but he still forced a smiling face and said with a smile, really? I didn't expect your interest to be so special. It's simply deceiving people too much. Wu Di's anger was raging in his heart. He really wanted Chu Yue to see his size. But I just thought about it. In fact, he didn't even joke with Chu Yue, after all, she and he are in the same world. Yingzheng and Zier, he can kick them with one kick. And Chu Yue, what can he do with her? So Wu Di now only hopes that she will leave as soon as possible. He has regretted provoking this woman before. He wants to be alone now, ignoring anyone and making a fortune in silence. The world is vast, and the soft girl coins are the largest. Wu Di's current goal is very clear, which is to make good use of the system and make a fortune. As for businesses like Chu Yue, it's better to go directly to the bank in the future. Although Wu Di has made up his mind not to contact Chu Yue anymore, the latter, what's wrong with you? You're too emotional and not interested in women anymore. Chu Yue saw Wu Di's always cold face and decided not to conceal anything. She expressed her feelings directly and expressed her thoughts in her heart. Wu Di didn't answer, as if she hadn't heard him, indulging herself in playing with her phone. With a playful smile on Chu Yue's face, she sat down in the chair next to Wu Di and leaned against his shoulder to look at his phone, which was playing a game of entertainment. What are you clamping your legs for? With just one sentence from Chu Yue, Wu Di almost broke through the defense, but he still held back the surging anger in his heart. Chu Yue, are you absent from class this afternoon? Wu Di gritted his teeth, is this woman sick? Why bother him? I don't have any classes this afternoon. What, are you inviting me out to play? If you don't have time, why do you go shopping with me? But all my money is in your pocket. I don't have the money to go shopping now. How about you transfer a few million yuan to me so that I can go shopping and buy? Why? Wu Di gritted his teeth, his forehead bulging with veins. You're enough, Chu Yue, I've been holding you for a long time. Oh, really, then don't bear it anymore. It's not good to hold it back. Wu Di recognized Chu Yue's meaning and took a deep breath, forcefully exhaling the anger in his heart. He calmed down and put down his legs. A small tent stands proudly. What are you looking at? Haven't you seen it before? Wu Di looked at Chu Yue's attentive gaze and chuckled, his face gritted its teeth. Chu Yue also chuckled and said, I have only seen someone else's before. As for yours, I have never seen it before. Otherwise, if you have time someday, could you show me something? Wu Di gritted his teeth again, and his understanding of her was refreshed once again. Sure enough. Understanding a person cannot rely on so-called information online, but on word-of-mouth from others. Just like when others say that Wu Di is a stubborn licking dog, is he actually that kind of person? He's just spending money for her without thinking. Consider her opinions in everything. A kind attitude towards her without reservation. And that woman also responded positively to his performance at that time. How could this become such an unbearable, licking dog? They are all some unscrupulous media. Looking back at this woman in front of me, damn it, high cold school flower. Just now he underestimated her bottom line, where would he offend her with a few words? Fortunately, he was just worried that offending her would make it difficult for him to survive in school. Now it seems he is really ruthless. I'm available now. How about we find a hotel to have a deeper discussion? Sure, I have no problem. Chu Yue and Wu Di looked at each other, her eyes looking open and straightforward, as if she really would do that. Be honest with Wu Di, have in-depth communication, and explore the mysteries of life. Chu Yue, where did I offend you? Or was it about that cup of coffee? Wu Di gave up, although he really wanted to do that in his heart. He pushed Chu Yue onto the bed, took off her clothes, and cruelly bullied her under his body. Make her sore back and weak legs unable to walk afterwards. But Wu Di has not lost his sanity yet, just like not long ago, these can only be thoughts. An idea that is absolutely impossible to achieve. You didn't offend me, it's just that I'm curious about you and want to get to know you better, right? Chu Yue bit the word deep very hard, and Wu Di almost broke through the defense again. Are these two words also what you said? Do you have the ability to delve deeper? Wu Di, I'm a bit curious about something. If you answer me, I won't bother you anymore. I have already. It's not a golden thing. My parents. It's not your parents' business either. Wu Di. After being interrupted one after another, Wu Di felt angry and helpless, and even had some thoughts of crying. What crime did he commit? After being bullied by that woman, he met this bad woman again. Wu Di, what I want to ask is this is a question I haven't asked before. Okay, then you can tell me. Okay, the question is. How did your eyes look different when you had dinner just now? Wu Di's face instantly turned red with embarrassment, and her earlobes were also burning hot. She said that she had just eaten. Did she already see it? Wu Di, when I saw you at that time, I was afraid I had even thought of my grandson's name. Now what's the situation? Wu Di was exposed with the secret he thought he had hidden, and after that awkward moment, he became even more calm when facing Chu Yue. Call out. This question is very simple. You're right. I was almost thinking of my grandson's name, but at that time I overlooked one thing. What's going on? I ignored my identity. What identity? I overlooked my identity and also your identity at that time. Wu Di candidly said, if it were in the past, there would have been nothing happier than marrying such a beautiful and capable girl, getting married and having children, but now. I'm not the same person I used to be. Why do I still realize my previous dreams? Wu Di looked down on him with a proud expression. Although the dragon slayer eventually became a dragon, he had finally become the person he used to dislike. However, what's there to this? He has this ability, shouldn't he enjoy it? What is your current dream? Wu Di chuckled and said, of course we should embrace each other and live a carefree life, can't we? Chu Yue, I thought you were a lady from a wealthy family, but I didn't expect. Otherwise, we would really go deep into communication and exchange. Didn't you say I'm young? Then I'll let you see me. Not just that gold, right? The inheritance you receive is definitely more than just that gold. Chu Yue suddenly interrupted Wu Di's words, her face serious, and her aura suddenly became fierce. With a majestic aura. Like a sharp sword soaring into the sky. Wu Di instantly panicked, and when he regained his senses, he became angry again, gritting his teeth to the extreme. He still misread her. Damn it. She's not a female hooligan. This woman's scheming is really amazing. Her behavior just now is completely certain that the so-called inheritance in his mouth is not just that gold. Fortunately, he also candidly shared his thoughts. Mad. I absolutely can't talk to this woman anymore. I'm really afraid that one day she might even cheat me out of my pants. Schwa, Wu Di stood up and strode out the door with a hurried figure, wanting to leave the place. It's too scary. This woman is too scary. Hey, Wu Di, you're not eating your noodles anymore. Aunt Zhang's voice came out of the kitchen, feeling a bit anxious. Chu Yue loudly took her words. He doesn't want me to eat, the money has already been paid. Chu Yue looked at Wu Di, who had fled in despair, but did not pursue her. Her lips curved into a smile. It's also good to gradually understand some things. Wu Di is in the audience seat of the West District Playground, basking in the sun while watching the conversation between Yingzheng and Zier in the chat group, which has been chatting for more than 10 hours. Suddenly, a newcomer joined the group. Colonel Jack joins the World Trade Group. Colonel Jack. From the Doctor Who series of science fiction dramas. Chapter 8. Gene Potions. A brand new look. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Wu Di looked at Colonel Jack's situation, and this guy is also an old acquaintance. He had also pursued Doctor Who for a period of time before, but he didn't expect such a fate to exist between them. It's really interesting. Yingzheng. Jack. Weigoran. Zier. Why guoren? Zier. What kind of nut is this? Ingzheng. This is not guoren, it's the foreigner I'm telling you, jokingly called, crooked guoren. Zier. I see, I thought it was some kind of fruit kernel. Ingzheng. Exclusive red envelope. Ingzheng was quite generous and sent out another exclusive red envelope for Colonel Jack. The system fed back the information to Wu Di, and seeing that it was just an ordinary jade pendant, he casually approved the red envelope. Then Colonel Jack quickly received the red envelope, and with the help of the system, he also understood everything. Colonel Jack. Lucky red envelope. Wu Di looked at Colonel Jack's red envelope and smiled. I didn't expect this guy to be quite a good person. He opened the red envelope and saw a very exquisite glass lamp inside. After reading the information, he realized that it was a magical mineral composition that could shine for 100 years without charging or any energy supply. It's really a one lamp that has been passed down for 3 generations, and the lamp is still alive after leaving. Next, Colonel Jack started chatting with Ingzheng and others, and Wu Di didn't interject. Compared to chatting, he preferred to peek at the screen. What Colonel Jack wants is not difficult to do. A cup of hand-ground coffee. Wu Di asked him to come up with a basic genetic medicine that can improve his physical fitness. Colonel Jack is very happy. Take 10 out. Because in his place, this kind of thing is no different from the health products on Wu Di's side, they are all some junk street things. Wu Di naturally felt very happy watching Colonel Jack so witty. It would be even better if it weren't for that guy causing trouble. Wu Di looked at Colonel Jack's reply and was about to reply when the news of Ingzheng appeared first. Ingzheng. I said Jack, you're not cowardly. Ingzheng. Do you think the group leader will miss out on your genetic potion? The meaning behind Ingzheng's words is that he is somewhat dissatisfied with Jack's self-proclaimed behavior, thinking that Jack is offending Wu Di. They only want you to take 1 potion, but what does it mean if you generously take 10? Do you look down on the group leaders? Do you think they are greedy for your genetic potion? Just do things honestly, don't make your own decisions. Wu Di's face turned green as he looked at Ingzheng's words. Wang Ba Duzi, you're the only one who criticizes me a lot. Leader. At Ingzheng, it seems that you understand my thoughts very well. Wu Di sent a message. Ingzheng was sweating profusely in an instant. After finishing his calf, he just had a chat with Zier. This matter has caused what an embarrassment. Wu Di did not wait for a response from Ingzheng, nor did he hold on to it. After all, compared to the gene potion he wanted, this guy was not worth mentioning. After Wu Di placed a takeout order, he went straight back to the dormitory. Today, he has one more thing to do. What's going on? Just improve your physical fitness. He wanted to do that last night, but he was worried about being noticed by his brothers. Coincidentally, the brothers are not here now, and they all have classes. Isn't this a good opportunity? In the bedroom bathroom, Wu Di took out the gene potion and blew a test tube directly. And then suddenly, there was a muscle spasm like pain all over my body. My whole body muscles are out of control. It's all muscles. Including the muscles that control the vocal cords and produce sound. Wu Di fell to the ground with a thud, stiff and unable to make any sound. Tears of regret flowed from the corners of his eyes. If he had known the effect of this gene potion, he should have found a white mouse as the experimental subject first. Oh no, it should be looking for a white mouse to see the medication situation, rather than looking for a white mouse to know the result. Fuck. It really hurts him so much. My brain is not working properly. This time it was really careless. But fortunately, although the process was a bit painful, the result was very perfect. When the control of the body returned to his hands, although he was panting heavily and sweating profusely, Wu Di couldn't wait to check his condition. That's really great. Wu Di looked at her 8-pack abs and handsome 3-dimensional facial features, feeling incredibly happy in her heart. Wu Di suddenly felt a strange sensation, lowered his head to take a look, and then was stunned. Is this effect too good? Then, Wu Di quickly pulled out a tape measure. I measured my current height and sure enough, he is also a handsome guy with a height of 188 meters now. No wonder I just lowered my head and looked, my slippers are about to burst. P.S. Author's warning, if you want to be crooked, go face the wall and reflect on yourself. Wu Di took out Zier's fairy fruit again, which looked like a green date. The information provided by the system said that this thing can prolong life, wash essence and cut marrow. That's why Wu Di didn't dare to use it last night. If the effect is too obvious, just like what is written in a novel, all kinds of dirty things come out of the body, and a foul smell wafts out 2 miles, how should he explain this thing? After eating the dates, Wu Di exclaimed on his face, it was indeed a fairy fruit. This experience is like a genetic potion, it's like a sky, an earth, and it feels like the entire soul is about to soar. Half an hour later, the host is unable to cultivate immortals. The system made Wu Di feel extremely heavy, unable to cultivate immortality. Just now, Wu Di never felt the expected presence of spiritual power in his body, and couldn't help but question the system. I didn't expect, surprisingly, that's the answer. Why? No reason. After binding to this system, it's impossible to cultivate immortals. What should I do if I encounter danger in the future? It's simple, no one can defeat the host. The system has a mechanism where anyone who wants to harm the host's life will be immediately detected by the host. Anyone who has already taken action will immediately make an instinctive defense response. Anyone who is stronger than the host will be given 120% strength by the system. In short, the host only needs to do small business, enjoy life, and cultivate immortals, which is a time-consuming and laborious task, so there is no need for the host to worry. Wu Di listened to the system's words and his complaints were cleared away. Since this was the case, what else can he say? System.Wanjie. Suddenly, Wu Di realized something again, but he quickly let out a cold snort. He cared about how those people looked at him. Is it still possible to forcibly slice him? It's funny. Ha! Wu Di suddenly discovered something again and silently took out a tape measure. Tisk, the immortal fruit is still powerful. Wu Di also secretly measured, and he was startled by his own size. After all, when did he have this ability before? It's really amazing. Don't misunderstand, what he's talking about is little brother. At this moment, Wu Di's waist was completely straightened. As a man, nothing can straighten his spine more than it. Ha ha ha. Xiao Chu Yue, I will definitely show you the magnificent capital of brothership. Why did he think of that woman again? Chapter 9. Miss Xiao Air's heartbeat. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Has it not been washed yet? Wu Di, how much longer do you need to direct your child's TMD? Wu Di, don't guide me, take care of your own body. The sound of old Wang cursing echoed outside, but Wu Di ignored him because if he really needed to pee urgently, he would go to the restroom in the next dormitory for convenience. It's purely a troublemaker. Wu Di, wearing clothes that didn't fit well, opened the door and saw old Wang and 2 other roommates walking out of the bathroom. Silence fell. Who is this handsome and sunny fried chicken guy who is over 1.8 meters tall? Brother, who are you? Old Wang looked bewildered. Who the hell is this guy? Why did he just run to their dormitory to take a shower? Wu Di chuckled and said, who do you think I am? Listening to the familiar voice, old Wang looked shocked and wiped his eyes repeatedly, looking bewildered. For all. Are you Wu Di? Old Wang exclaimed in surprise. For all. No, I'm not Wu Di. Who are you then? I am your father. Old Wang gritted his teeth and said loudly, Wu Di, what's up with you, kid? Honestly explain, what's the situation with you? No, are you really Wu Di? Wu Di, how did your kid become like this now? The voices of Lao Wang and his two roommates were chattering, like sparrows. The three of them had the same type of shocked expression, and they felt like they were dreaming and fantasizing about what was happening in front of them. Alright, it's just one sentence. Wu Di shouted loudly, suppressing the voices of the three of old Wan, and the dormitory suddenly fell silent. What words? Wu Di chuckled and said, brother, I'll turn over and become the master from now on. Alright, don't forget your wealth and status. I understand everything. Tonight, I'll treat you to the Western District bombing. You guys are only responsible for eating, and I'll be responsible for paying the bill. What the hell are you doing? Wu Di was very angry and turned to look at his tail behind him. It was unlucky that he bumped into her again. What's wrong with you? Did you put on makeup? That's not right either, your height is not right. Why did you suddenly grow so much taller? Chu Yue listened to the familiar voice and completely affirmed the identity of the guy in front of her. It's really Wu Di. But what's going on here? Chu Yue had a question mark on her face, her mind full of doubts. It's only been a while since I last saw you. Why is this guy like someone else? From a medical perspective, his current appearance is completely different from his recent appearance. If it weren't for looking at the two people looking somewhat similar, she wouldn't have believed it was him at all. Wu Di said coldly, mind your own business. Does this have anything to do with you? Although Wu Di's attitude was cold, it did not affect Chu Yue's enthusiasm. And she is more interested in someone now. What exactly happened to this guy? It's that massive wealth again, and the earth-shattering changes now, it really makes people itch. Why doesn't it matter? Chu Yue's decisive decision surprised Wu Di very much. He's happy. What is our relationship? Wu Di really wants to know the answer to this question. What is the relationship between them that makes you like this? Did you forget? Chu Yue gave a sly smile and said, have you forgotten that we had lunch together today? Wu Di fell silent for a moment, then smiled heartily. He took a big step forward. At this moment, the distance between him and Chu Yue was already less than 10 centimeters. He could clearly see Chu Yue, her fair and jade-like cheeks, and her skin that could be blown and broken without any flaws. Exquisite like a piece of jade. Looking at the leopard from a narrow perspective, it is evident that she is not wearing clothes, which should be so infuriating. What are you doing? Chu Yue looked at Wu Di with a wolf-like gaze, inexplicably shivering and instinctively taking a step back. Wu Di took another step forward. She took another step back. Then he takes another step forward. She retreated again. I haven't refunded this time. She realized that Wu Di had suppressed her momentum, and she wanted to return as a guest. However, Wu Di has already stepped forward. Bang, the two faced each other, and Wu Di pressed Chu Yue directly under her. Part of what I once fantasized about turned into reality. Suddenly, I felt the fragrance and softness beneath me, and Wu Di suddenly became restless. Chu Yue felt something suddenly poking her thigh with a hint of warmth, and her eyes were very surprised, almost blurting out this sentence. Are you too sensitive? Wu Di still felt a hint of shame upon hearing these words, but he quickly adjusted his mindset. Is it a date? What is the appointment for? Chu Yue instinctively blurted out, and soon realized Wu Di's meaning. She stared into his eyes, and after a few seconds of sharp confrontation, Chu Yue smiled and burst into laughter. Tonight. No. Oh, when was that? Now. Chu Yue stiffened for a moment, and then roast, are you too impatient? So, why don't you accompany me to the mall to buy a few clothes first? What do you think? This is why Wu Digong just left, and it is also his current purpose. Yeah, Xiao, I was supposed to buy clothes and pants, and as you can see, I definitely can't wear my old clothes now. Chu Yue nodded and said, so, are you planning to buy me some clothes? How about we do this? Chu Yue smiled and said, how are you? Wu Didao said, I'll buy it for you, you'll buy it for me. What do you think? Wu Di's idea is very simple. He has not forgotten the exorbitant lunch that this woman ate, and the shame of being tricked by her tricks at Aunt Jiang's noodle shop. So Wu Di's idea this time is not to make an appointment with her. This idea requires intelligence, and Wu Di realizes that his intelligence may not have reached this level yet. If you try rashly, the risk is even too great. So he should settle for second place. Getting back the lost money can also make him vent his anger. Okay, that's a great idea. Chu Yue's eyes were sparkling with stars, her face had a shallow smile, and she also had her own thoughts in her heart. Wu Di and Chu Yue first entered the Nike store in the school, bought it for him, and then let's go back to our respective homes. He wouldn't buy anything for this woman. Although he thought so in his heart, Wu Di's face did not show any flaws. Instead, he looked very attentive, walking with Chu Yue like a loving couple. Is this Chu Yue? I wipe, who is this man? How handsome. Chu Yue has a boyfriend now. Wu Di listened to the chattering voices around him, his lips couldn't hide his pride. Suddenly, he had a new idea, perhaps besides clothes what else can he gain? Then he should work hard. Strive to make Chu Yue also feel the power of being reported by those unscrupulous media. Thinking that the title for the next few days would be, Chu Yue becomes a licking dog, buying and buying for a handsome guy, he couldn't help but smile. Of course. The premise is that she has to follow the plan. If she is indifferent to him or even disagrees with him, she must have made a fool of herself again. Wu Di's heart broke out in a cold sweat, and a hint of unease flashed through his eyes. He agreed to buy clothes for the other person with care. This woman wouldn't be causing any trouble, would she? Well, this outfit is pretty good. What do you think? Wu Di breathed a sigh of relief as she looked at Chu Yue's thoughtful expression. It seems that there won't be any moths left. Chapter 10. 2 pounds in 10 days. My teeth are all black. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Not bad, I want to try it on. Chu Yue's gaze had to be said to be quite excellent. The clothes she was interested in also made Wu Di's heart skip a beat. 2 minutes later, Wu Di came out wearing brand new clothes, surrounded by exclamation sounds. Who the hell is this guy? So handsome. Why did Chu Yue fall in love with this kid? Why is that so? That's right, is it difficult for this kid to have 28 centimeters? Is this guy from another school? A little white face. Oh, do you see this brother's temperament, the calm and composed way he interacts with the goddess Xiao, like a little white face. Wu Di was surrounded by various sounds, most of which were envious and amazed at his appearance, envious of Chu Yue's kindness towards him, both good and bad, as well as some harsh sounds. Just turn a deaf ear to these jealous voices, it's not a big deal. There's never a shortage of people in the world who can't eat grapes and say they're sour. What's the point of arguing with them? Chu Yue has completely fulfilled their default agreement of being considerate and buying clothes for the other party. After all, making an appointment with P also requires a certain emotional foundation. A certain ambiguous atmosphere. Otherwise, both of them would have a stern face, just like on the battlefield, and still make an appointment with a fart named P. Let's go and take a look there again. Just as Wu Di felt that he had enough, Chu Yue suddenly pointed out another direction. The former looked at the situation in that direction and his face instantly flashed a hint of shyness. No need, these are already enough. It's okay. Chu Yue held Wu Di's hand and had a happy expression, resembling a happy girl in love. Wu Di was pulled to this corner by her, looking at all kinds of men's underwear in all directions, and his ears turned red. No girl has ever bought him such a thing. What do you think of this one? I think it fits your size. Wu Di was surprised to hear Xiao Chuyue's words. What did you just say? Do you know his size? When did you find out? Forget it, I'll just measure it a bit more accurately. Xiao Chuyue's movements were agile, and she knelt down on one knee in front of Wu Di. Her face was no more than 20 centimeters away from him, and she personally measured his waist with her hands, looking serious. Wu Di lowered his head and looked at Xiao Chuyue's current posture, her bright eyes and teeth, and her stunning beauty. His mind instantly turned yellow. He tried his best to control his right hand and didn't hook up with the back of her head. I didn't force her mouth open. Stuff something inside. Are you very hot? Xiao Chuyue's curious voice rang out. Wu Di casually explained, it's really a bit hot. Is summer here? Alright, now it's my turn, isn't it? Stepping out of the Audi store, Xiao Chuyue looked expectant, as the next step was to buy clothes for her. Wu Di's eyes were a bit gloomy. Just now, Xiao Chuyue measured his waist. Now he also feels like he should buy some underwear for Xiao Chuyue. And then can you really say tonight that you can grow from a boy to a man? If it were Xiao Chuyue, that would be great. What should you do? Wu Di had a shallow smile on his face, exhaling a mouthful of turbid air, and a trace of happiness ran across his face, almost shaking him. This woman is indeed a devil. What are you saying? Do you want to keep your word? Xiao Chuyue's eyes instantly moistened, and her tearful expression made Wu Di's heart tremble, as if she had been hit hard by something. He wavered again. Yes, that's it. Go back to your own homes and find your own mothers. Wu Di's tone was cold. He strode away with a calm gait, but his back still had a hint of panic. He dared not look back at Xiao Chuyue for fear of being shaken again. I'm fine, he's just happy. Faced with a kind-hearted little sister who advised her, Xiao Chuyue spoke in a gentle and very kind tone. The enthusiasm of the people eating melons around has become even stronger. My lungs are going to explode. This bastard. This kid is really despicable. Oh my goodness, please thunder and kill this scumbag. Xiao Chuyue listened to the anger around her towards Wu Di, her eyes shining brightly. Since you want to play, let's play and see who will win in the end. Xiao Chuyue's mouth curved with a hint of profound meaning. On the way to bomb customers, Wu Di received another big order. Currently, the host can only trade a maximum of 100 tons of goods with each customer per day. The sound of the system rang, and Wu Di nodded. Then he replied with Yingzheng. Qin shi huang xingzheng. 100 tons is enough, 100 tons is enough for them to eat for 10 days. Wu Di was stunned at Yingzheng's response. Was he not mistaken? 100 tons is enough to eat for 10 days. Is it enough for 100,000 people to eat for 10 days? Let him do the math. 1 ton of grain weighs 2,000 pounds. 100 tons is equivalent to 200,000 kilograms of grain. That is to say, on average, each person can only receive 2 kilograms of grain in 10 days. Hiss, this is too fucking black-hearted. Capitalists cry when they see it. He also collapsed when he saw it. Wu Diyuan thought his heart was already dark, but he didn't expect this. Yingzheng is the ruthless person. 2 kilograms of grain will be distributed in 10 days. Group leader. Can you distribute 2 kilograms of grain in 10 days? Wu Di hesitated again and again, and finally roast about Yingzheng. This dog used to say he was black. But don't look at yourself. I'm afraid this guy's teeth are already black, right? Qin shi huang xingzheng. Well. This is already considered a good treatment. You should know that 10 years ago, before the unification of the 6 countries, the officials did not distribute food. Qin shi huang xingzheng. 2 jin of rice every 10 days, it seems not much, but with some other things, it is enough for them to drink 2 bowls of porridge every day. Qin shi huang xingzheng. These people cannot be fed too much, and I don't really want them to build the Great Wall. The stubborn remnants of these 6 countries mainly need us to give them a way to survive. If we don't give them a way to survive, these people will rebel. As long as they don't have the strength to cause trouble, that's enough. Wu Di looked at Ing Zheng's answer and realized that he had not considered the issue comprehensively. According to Ing Zheng, 2 kilograms of grain in 10 days is indeed enough. Group leader. Whatever you want. Su Ming understood the situation and then took on the order for Ing Zheng's business. You said you want 100 tons of rice. The supermarket owner's wife tugged at the corner of her mouth. Didn't she hear it wrong? This guy asked her where her rice is wholesale and if the wholesale store has 100 tons of rice. Wu Di nodded and said, you can say that. Auntie, can you help me? Wu Di had a smile on his face. As the saying goes, don't hit the smiling person when you reach out. Plus, this busyness is actually not a big deal, so the landlady readily told Wu Di the phone number of the wholesale point. Actually, she is also very curious about whether this guy really wants to wholesale 100 tons of rice. 100 tons. That's 200,000 kilograms of rice. What does this guy need so much food for?